Good evening. I'd like to open the Conservation Commission Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Call to order. We have, let's see, Sue and Allison, if you would like to sit with the two. I'm sure we have Joe and anyone coming? Is anyone?
And Jason, yeah, we actually won't be really voting on any applications except the minutes.
Okay, well,
But you can still see it. It's fine.
All right. Approval of the minutes for May 28th, 2025 meeting. Does anyone have any changes or corrections, additions? Okay, here we have Jason. So, all right. Hearing none. Do I have a motion? Oh, Jason. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, we do not have any new applications for receipt or determination significance. We have no public hearing. Delightful. So we have designated agent actions and other reports. So I'd like to have a motion to change the second item, application CC number 25-16 to the top of this list. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we'll take up application CC number 25-16 of the town of Simsbury, owner Tom Taberski, applicant for a wetland permit to install 4 bat houses, boxes in a regulated area of Meadow Pond Park and Town Forest Park, 2 at each site as part of an Eagle Scout project.
I'll just briefly introduce this. So this is an Eagle Scout project, and if you recall, I think it was a year ago, we just requested when there were Eagle Scout projects on town land that we would have the person, the Eagle Scout recipient present, and that's what we are doing here tonight. You can come to this front seat if you like. Give your presentation.
So my name is Catherine Brady, and I am a coming senior to Simsbury High School. And my Eagle Scout project is going to be bat boxes. So the plan, as you can see, is to insert a pole into the ground by just hammering it in and then sliding in a thinner pole, as opposed to using a cement method. And the installations will be in Meadow Pond Park and Town Forest Park. And what it will be is back-to-back mount. So there's going to be 4 boxes, but only on 2 poles. So they'll rest like this on a single pole. And that's basically my intention.
The poles will go on land, not in the water.
No, they are intended to go on the land, yes.
Yeah. And what kind of bats do you hope to attract?
Some of the endangered species are like the brown bat and silver bat and red bat. So I plan to maybe plant some flowers as well that are good to attract black bats. But another way that I researched to attract them is just smearing some bat dung on the box. So I might just order some of that from I don't know, I'll figure out a resource of how to get some bat tube. But those are 2 methods that I do to attract the bats.
As far as that goes, remember that there's various diseases that are highly contagious between bats.
Yes.
So just be very cognizant of who or where you get that from, because the last thing you want to do is accidentally bring in parasites or disease or fungus with the colony.
And the flowers are to attract the moths.
They attract pollinators, which attracts the bats. Yes.
So if you're going to be doing those kind of flowers, I recommend getting some of the native white flowers, because that pollinate the insects that the bats are attracted to are mostly the moths, and they're attracted to the white flowers.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Tell us the program.
So the ideal length of a bat box is somewhere between 12 to 20 feet. So my intent is probably to get a 15-foot pole and then insert it into the ground 3 feet deep. So then it will just be 12 feet standing. But depending on like the poles that I can find, because they'll probably be expensive. So I might have to get like, let's say an 18-foot pole. So then it would be 15 feet. So it really just depends on like where I can find a pole, but at least 12 feet. Yeah.
Makes sense.
How did you select the locations?
I originally had 4 different locations, but the bats are also attracted to bodies of water and they're more likely to come with open land and space, or if there's, as I said, a body of water. And the other 2 locations were Curtis, and that was too close to the soccer fields. So it could have interference from the kids. And then the other location, I just don't think was as suitable as these 2.
What have been some of your resources for together?
Yeah, I have them all printed on paper, but I couldn't list them exactly. If you wanted to see it, I can email it to you.
Yeah, so I have a good contact for you after that. First is the state bat surveys.
Oh, interesting.
I was in Connecticut. I was just today.
Oh, interesting.
Are there any streetlights in the area?
I do not believe so. There might be some, actually, Town Forest Park, there might be, and I know Meadow Park has no streetlights in that.
No, I want to scope that out because the lights interfere with the moths.
Right.
And also if it's near the bat house, bats might not come out of their roost. If they do go in,
Yeah.
because they'll be waiting for the sun to go down.
I don't think there's any, where she's talking about by the pond, there's no lighting,
Good.
artificial lighting there.
Good.
Or a metal pond.
Good, that's a good. Good. Any other questions?
Thank you for a good project.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Can I begin, so with this, can I begin my fundraising process?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Oh, yeah, sure.
That application CC number 25-15 of the town of Simsbury, owner Tom Taberski, applicant for a wetland permit to install 2-sided information kiosks located in a regulated area and deregulated area, Picture Sycamore Tree Park, Hartford Road, Assessors Map G15, Block 108, Lot 001B.
Also, I forgot to introduce our newest member, Michael Bozzetti. Welcome. And for your sake, I want to just give a brief summary of what we're doing. So there's 2 types of wetland application permits. I think I explained this to you, but just so you can see it now on the agenda. The agency, there's one type where the agency reviews it and determines whether it's significant or not significant to wetland soils. There's also the designated agent application. These are more minor applications in regulated and upland review areas that I have the ability to approve, and then I report out what's been approved. And that's that's all on the agenda tonight, these 2 first applications.
And thank you for doing that, Wendy. We were having everyone has had a lovely conversation beforehand.
Yes. I don't even know everyone.
So the project that we're looking to do here is replacing one existing kiosk it's in the upper part of the picture there on the right, labeled in blue. An existing kiosk that's over there at the Sycamore Tree Park, and moving and replacing it with a new one that is going to be funded through a grant program with the national.
Lower Farmington River and Salmon Brook Wildlife Scenic.
Yes.
There's too many initials there for me to remember. I apologize. That kiosk will be set in concrete footings, 6x6 posts. It'll be just inside. If you're familiar with that parking lot, there's a rock. We use boulders to keep people away, cars away from the tree. So it'll be just inside those boulders. And if you're looking at the tree, it'll be to the right of the existing monument marker that's there. It'll be a two-sided kiosk. It's pictured on the lower left there. The front side facing the parking lot will have information about the lower, all those initials, Wildlife Scenic program. The back side will have information about the tree. So historical information about the tree. We have an arborist who's been taking care of the tree for many, many years. His name is Bruce Powell. He used to work for Save a Tree. He's still, when he takes care of the tree, he's still working under them. He has requested, and we welcome him to be on site when those holes are dug. So if there is any damage to the roots of the tree, or should we hit a root, that he will make the repair that's necessary to make sure nothing, there's no long-term detriment to
I
it.
just saw a show where they're using LiDAR to determine the arborists were using LiDAR to determine where the major roots were, so they could put that.
I don't know that. I just know that he's very interested in being there.
I don't know whether
He
he's
said,
ever used that.
if anything happens, I'll be there to take care of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it's, I believe, with this location is outside the tree canopy, by more than a few feet, and it's a great addition. The other panels, like, it's been neglected. It's kind of on the outside of the parking area. It's not, not something people pay attention to. This new one is it's an area where people are coming to take pictures and look at the tree, and that information will be about the important work that the lower the great work that they're doing will be highlighted again, and it gives people a little more information about the tree as well. So
Yeah, I think this is a great idea because it does need to be freshened up and have information. Are the photographers that come from far and wide going to lose their minds on the location of this?
you can move to the left or you can move to the right. There's plenty of good views there. I mean, I don't think it's
Not like Grand Center where it's almost impossible.
Oh, you mean taking pictures of the
Yeah,
tree?
you're gonna
Got it.
Yeah,
take a
because
picture of the tree.
especially people come from really far away actually to take photos
No.
of that tree.
I've never even seen, in most pictures I've seen, I haven't seen the boulders in most of those pictures.
So, I mean, we edit out most things, but
Yeah.
I'm just like wondering if people are going to call the town very distraught that there's a sign in their picture.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that, but I don't think it's going to be an issue there. I mean, you can see where the star is in the pictures. There's a ton of room on the right to get a full picture of that tree. And it's an attractive, when you see the panel in the pic, I mean, the panel in the picture with the colorful panel on it, it's actually pretty attractive. So it's going to be similar to one that they constructed. It was in Heartland, or
Yes.
in Heartland, yeah. So
I'm Sue. Nice to meet you. Hi.
nice to meet you.
Is the sign going to be lighted?
No,
I have a question about lighting, which really doesn't have anything to do with the kiosk anymore. The tree is lighted.
it has been for me for a long time.
Why?
I wasn't here when that was chosen. I mean, Marjorie might know better than I.
It was a big discussion. I know the garden club, the Simsbury
Yeah.
Garden Club, lobbied hard against it.
Yeah.
It was seen to be the gateway to Simsbury, and it needed to be lit. But it's hard on a tree when it's lit at
Yeah.
night. So yeah, I agree with you. I
I just personally feel like it's not the best method of preservation for a tree that is so cherished. I understand we want to highlight it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just an asterisk to
But it's-
review for later. So I do have
Yeah,
concerns about the light.
Like, or at least go
Sorry,
down,
right next to this road.
go down to a yellow light at night, change the bulb out to
Or,
a
yeah,
lower
change the
Kelvin
bulb
light.
out.
I mean, that's a possibility because it's the blue light, which represent, it's more like sunlight, which is, trees or plants that are growing under outdoor lights at night tend to hold on to their leaves longer because they think fall is farther off, and then they leaf out earlier in the spring. So it does affect the trees, but if it's a yellow light, it's less so.
Yeah.
It's just something.
I will look into it. I'm not tied to lighting. That was kind of been
Yeah.
tradition.
I don't know like who the decision
Yeah,
maker would be.
I don't know.
That was-
I don't even know who to address
No, that was,
about it,
yeah.
but
It was before 2000,
yeah.
but it was a hotly contested
Yeah.
issue at the
So
time.
that might be worth reviewing it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Yeah, I started in '99 and I'm pretty sure it was lit up at that point.
yeah, it
also
was.
regarding the safety issues of that, though, even though that's not really the discussion now, I have seen people who don't realize there's a gate there, almost crash into it at night. And I've been behind them and they're.
That gate is open. It's only closed from December 1st through like April 1st because we can't maintain the parking lot during the winter. Yeah, it's closed.
There's a the winter, but I feel like
Big reflective signs in there.
I'm not saying there wasn't something.
Last year.
Actually, Duval's the one that did it, but on two different occasions I saw, luckily they didn't.
Yeah, I got back at my honeymoon.
I mean, maybe they're just trying to blow over.
Just not just.
And
Well,
and since we're talking about Pinterest, I want to say that the Farmington River Watershed Association had a invasive plant removal day with Simsbury Land Trust to cut down a lot of the porcelain berry vine, which are another invasive, added it to my life list. And that's the law in various places in that area, so
Yeah, we've removed it.
what?
We've taken out all the stuff that was left.
Oh, good. Well, there's still, you can see the vines hanging from the tree, but it's gonna be needing some additional work later on, because it's still there. And it's on state property too. There's
Yeah.
been discussions about that, but it was good. It was a good day of removal. Yeah. Does anyone have any related questions to the signage other than location?
We hope to do the work over the summer. So it should be completed by that point.
Minimal disturbance. Good. Thank you. All right, now correspondence, DEEP permit application for the use of pesticides in state waters, in Simsbury Farms and golf course.
This is another one where there
Thank you.
was, oh, thank you so much. There was discussion on a previous application. It was requested that, so these applications are approved or are processed by DEEP. And they go to the Wetlands Agency for comment. And there was discussion last time one of these came before us when it was on public property, town property, that the applicant come and explain and just not explain, but, you know, hear our comments about it. So that is what is happening tonight.
So Brian, this is Brian Johnson. He's our golf course superintendent. So he's here to answer any questions you may have about it.
I did have a couple of questions. I was looking up the various chemicals. I know you're
Yeah.
mostly getting algae and duckweed and
Correct.
probably the filamentase.
It's early leaf pondweed, which is an invasive, I guess, and American pondweed, which is not invasive, but still
Just-
not beneficial,
yeah.
and then algae.
Yeah.
So,
So I looked up of all the different chemicals.
Yeah.
They're all, you know, fine.
yeah,
But the one that was concerning was the flumioxazine,
okay,
which according to EPA, doesn't pose a big problem because but it does break down into degradates APF and THPA,
okay,
which are highly mobile in
Yeah.
the water and very persistent.
gotcha.
And there hasn't been a lot of studies based on that,
Mhm.
what the impacts of it. But I don't like the sound of highly mobile and very persistent.
Gotcha.
So I was wondering if there was in it, there's potential for groundwater contamination with that one.
I do know that they use very small amounts of this,
Yeah.
and I am using this for the irrigation. So I'm very concerned about anything that could be a negative.
Yeah, that was the only one that raised a red flag.
Yep.
I also was.
Yeah, I can ask the company that's applying
Okay,
this.
but ask
more details.
particularly for the APF
Yep.
and the
Yep.
THPA, because I've got an EPA report I could send you.
Okay, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
About that. And then the part of a reason for having a lot of water plants is because nutrients are getting in. Are you doing water testing?
We do.
Okay.
Yes, we're part of the Audubon Sanctuary Program, so
Yeah.
we test them every year.
Okay. You might want to do the testing. What time of year do you do the testing?
Usually it's in spring
Okay.
or early summer. We haven't done that yet. but-
Okay. You might want to do more frequent testing
Yeah.
just to see, because especially after a rainstorm,
Sure.
it might be getting more in. And
Correct.
I know in going around because I live opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
The buffers around the pond.
Yeah.
Are kind of small. If you increase the buffer, it will decrease the amount of
Correct.
the nutrients getting into the pond.
Correct.
And I think that was one of the things on the Audubon.
Yeah.
Review, so, increase that. And have you ever tried to put barley straw?
I have not.
Because that's a technique that's being used for reducing algae in ponds. They don't know why it works,
Okay.
but a bale of barley straw is only like $35.
You just throw it in.
You throw it in, or you put a net around it, or you can do it. in
Right,
different
right. Okay,
parts.
so you just throw the bale in.
You throw part in one or two or parts of them, and it reduces algae growth.
Interesting.
Why? I don't know. But I thought that was something. And then there was the plants are growing usually because of phosphorus.
Mhm.
So there are a couple of other things like alum, which is an aluminum sulfate
Yep.
that flocculates, and gets it down. And there's another one called Foslock. So, there's some interesting things that, rather than going the herbicide route, it
Right,
might be a way to look at, the nutrient loading going in.
right. We don't use any phosphorus on the golf course,
Oh,
or
good.
minimal.
Good, good.
Anything we do is foliar applied to just greens normally. Everything else
And
does
not
not
before
get
rain.
that. And everything is slow release that we use on the large areas like
And
barrels.
then you've got aeration.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. But
Yeah.
I just saw those other things. The only one that really stood out for me was the flume oxide.
Okay, yeah, I've never dealt with these before.
So I'll send
Okay.
you that report.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, and this has been kind of a last resort for us too. We tried vacuuming out the pond and
Yeah.
cleaning out, doing some
Yeah.
physical
And anytime
things.
it's aerated, stuff gets remobilized.
Yep.
Yeah, try the barley straw. We've been
Okay.
trying it at the nature center in a tiny pond, just
Okay.
little bits in it.
Right,
And it seems to, they sell it through the North Central Conservation District as a solution for pond algae. And
yeah, the thing that I'm concerned about is that getting into the pump station.
yeah,
Other than that, I wouldn't even bother me, so that's perfect.
yeah, you put it in like a mesh bag
Yeah, yep.
and submerge it.
Yep.
And so it's worth a try.
I used to put a screen out on the overflow, that
Yeah.
it's a small pond, it's not much bigger than the shroom at all. And I put a screen there and I would go every day, just scrape that
Oh, the
out.
algae.
But then now, with the extreme rain events we've had, it keeps on overflowing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
especially, these major events we've been having. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay. I'll send you information.
Yep. Thank you,
Okay,
Margaret.
any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Good. All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Brian.
We appreciate it.
All right, old conservation business, I was speaking with, First Selectman about setting up a trip. I think at the open space, we were talking about doing a trip to Meadowwood property, on July 1st.
Okay.
I don't know if that's progressed any. I know they're having discussions about, the selectmen are having discussions about putting a, affordable housing development on the Meadowwood property in those 24 acres of the town. So I'm not sure that's the best place for it. There is a sand area in the back portion. The Meadowwood property is the one the town bought just recently, where the old tobacco fields used to be near Squatron Line School. 24 acres was carved out in the front corner, near Clifton Drive. In the original proposal, it's being used for farmland now. And there's a little wetland tongue that we're trying to try and look at whether that's wetland soil there. But there is a place where there's been, I think when they did the remediation, they borrowed some soil from a particular area in the back corner. And I know we had this discussion before in the Conservation Commission that we should go out and look at it and see, because I think that is a better site for
That's that section, that's pretty barren.
that's
I used to live on county. I know exactly the part you're talking
that
about.
barren area, rather
Yeah.
than put it, in the view shed, that
Yeah.
lovely view down Hoskins, just put it over there.
Yeah.
There's even a line of trees, it could be
Yeah.
a better solution. But before it becomes something drawn up on paper, which I'm worried about.
Regarding that too, when it all was being made public, that was supposedly being designated for sports fields. I'm assuming that the way it's written did not obligate it to sports fields and exclude housing.
It didn't say anything about
Because
housing.
publicly, it made
Yeah.
it sound like it excluded any housing.
Yeah, I think that will be an interesting thing for the public, because that's not quite what they perceive.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
No,
that-
Aaron's lives over there.
it's on the same referendum as the Latimer project. I know this one well.
Yeah.
Same.
Uniquely well informed.
Yes. So yeah, I think it behooves us to go and look at that site, and we're hopefully the Board of Selectmen and the Open Space Committee and whatever other group wants to come. But maybe to see how that's progressing, whether it's signed up for July 1st, because that's coming up.
Yes, I can reach out to Monday if that's not.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I know it's not on, is it on our, it's on a Tuesday?
July.
Tuesday, so it would be before, okay,
So you wanted, okay, we should, we'll discuss
yeah,
after. I mean, yeah.
yeah, that'd be good. So I know we put this on, this has been one of those problematic things and
I mean,
our other activities really precluded it too.
right. I mean, it's a Board of Selectmen item. I would want them to take the lead on
But
it.
if you could,
I will inquire.
Thank you.
Yes.
thank you. All right. And as I said, we did porcelain berry removal pin show. There's, I think it's not this maybe it's this Saturday. There's going to be another day of invasive plant removal at Onion Mountain, Burning Bush. It's one of the nicer plants to remove. I don't know if it's being terribly successful, but it doesn't have prickers and thorns and nasty things. And they're big, so you feel really, really good when you go in and chop them down. Yeah. So, many hands make light work. Then you must join. It's on the Simsbury Land Trust page. I can't remember which, but it is a Saturday coming up.
What time?
9 to 11. And if you can only come for an hour, come. Just bring loppers, bug spray.
These are whoppers. That's like
What?
interesting.
What?
Whoppers, like
The candy.
Loppers.
I
That's
was
a thing that
thinking
you
of burgers from Burger King. But
No, we're not
Like-
loppers, loppers.
Whoppers, I got it.
Yeah, and if you don't have, we have
I'm
extras.
hungry.
Yeah. You can bring a whopper if you like. To keep your strength up while you're chopping down the burning bush. And if anyone out there listening, if you happen to have a burning bush in your yard, strongly consider chopping it down. How beautiful it is in the fall for 2 weeks when it's red. The rest of the time, birds are eating berries and taking them into woodlands, and that's why Onion Mountain is just nothing but burning bush. So, everyone's got to do their bit. All right, so I think that's. Anyone else have anything you want to bring up? All right, did you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have a second? All in favor? Thank you.
For over 40 years, SCM has been the voice of our town,
bringing us together through local programming,
education, and live broadcasts.
SEM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community,
ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings,
and celebrating milestones
like our high school graduations.
But today, SEM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions. And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SEM receives less revenue,
even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open,
continues to educate our youth,
and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SCM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
for generations to come.
Visit our website
or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media,
where your town,
your schools,
and your government come together.